episode features Lori Suba, the president and broker of Scout Real Estate. After more than 15 years of the corporate grind working as a broker in the commercial real estate industry, Lori decided to launch her own boutique brokerage firm. I met Lori a few years ago and was blown away by her story. Having worked in the commercial real estate industry myself, where it is often cutthroat, highly competitive, and male-dominated, it is not an environment that is easy to succeed in, let alone thrive. But for Lori, that is exactly what motivated her to start Scout, and it is what inspires me most about Lori and her story. I was just going to say that, often what we wanted to do when we were 7 or, as a teenager is generally, leads us to what our unique ability actually is, right? And brokerage in many ways is, like you said, teaching, right? Like teaching people about what's the right space for them and whatnot. So we'll get into that a bit more, but that's great. Yeah. Funny enough, I know this isn't about me today, but I wanted to be a teacher when I was young too. So yes, I did. It was like, you could probably go back and see my journals from back then. And it clearly said that. And, I think we're both doing things that bring out those skills today. Elements. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Nowadays that comes a little more confidently for some of us, but for many of us still, we start looking and saying, you're right. I don't have the same qualifications. I don't have the same background. I don't have this, but in fact, that actually is your superpower. That is what differentiates you. That is what allows you to help your clients in a different way and bring a different perspective. So I love that you had the ability to push back and, look at where you are today. So, so you were at CBRE and then, obviously we'll get into you starting to Scout, but before that, I'd love to know if there was, any nudges in your early days or signs or voices in your head along the way that were really, calling you to start your own business, or did you fall into it? Was there ever, this thought that you wanted to go out on your own? And I'd love to know if you had that feeling before starting Scout.
I think there was, and I think there was something that I always knew deep down. It wasn't at the surface. And the reason why I say that I think that it was there, I actually got my broker's license in 2005.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't need it. I didn't need it for all of those years that I worked within brokerage, because there was always a broker that was running the show. But I had it and I held it. And every year I do the extra coursework to maintain it. And I think in my mind, way back in my mind, I thought I might need this someday. This might be something that I need. And it was always, I had that card, like I can go on my own if I have to, like at any point. It was like my parachute. So I had a parachute in my back pocket, and it wasn't necessarily that I was ultra strategic about it. I just knew that I might need that parachute one day. And it turned out I did need that parachute one day. So it was really good to hold on to.
What's so interesting is as much as you did it and didn't need it at the time, the fact that you kept doing the what you needed to do to keep your credentials and whatnot is interesting, right? And maybe you didn't know, but there was a grander design for you. That path was being paved for you. I love that. I think that, sometimes we don't know why we do the things that we do at the time. And it's only 10 years later, 5 years later, that something reveals itself. I mean, for you, it was almost 15 years later that revealed itself to you. How cool. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? It's interesting. I left CB in 2000 and was it 2019?
Yeah.
I left CB and I left and I actually went to the landlord side. And I'm going to be completely honest. I left CB because I thought, I don't fit. I guess I'm not a broker. I gave it a good run. It's crazy. And I remember I had people that would reach out to me and say, Lori, what are you doing? You are able to be a broker. You're a successful broker. You're winning business. You have great clients. What's happening? but I just really felt that I didn't fit in that model. I did not belong. I did not belong. And I had this feeling that there was no more runway for me there. That was going to be what I was going to be, and that was it. And I wasn't overly happy. I know a lot of my friends and colleagues and even crew members at the time, they remember me being quite unhappy as a person, which is not like me at all. Like I'm normally really positive, really happy, really, sky's the limit. And I was not feeling sky's the limit. And so I thought, you know what, maybe brokerage is not for me. Maybe it's not. And so let's try something different. You gave it a good college try, Lori. You were like
15 years,
16 years. So in retrospect, like after I was like over on the landlord side for a stint, I was like, okay, no, maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it was the environment that I was in.
Let's talk about kind of the events and what was in your mind at the time that led you to really, launching Scout Real Estate. What was happening at that time?
Well, like I said, I missed the pace of brokerage. I missed helping my clients. Like I was used to having like a million things on the go, and I loved that pace and that energy. And I missed brokerage, and I had clients that were calling me, and I love my client. I had clients for a long time, and they would call me and say, is there anybody that's like you that could help us? And it was so thoughtful and kind. And I would think and try to imagine, like, okay, well, who is like me? And I thought, I don't know if there really is anybody like me, actually. Like, I don't know if there is. Like, I was a little bit different, right? And so it got me thinking, maybe there is an opportunity, there is value. I do add value. I'm different, but that's actually maybe like the secret sauce. So maybe there's something to this, right? And maybe it's time to get going. And I remember I had an executive coach that kind of helped me as I was at CB and kind of moving through my career. And she said, you're successful in really tough environments, Lori. Imagine what you can do if that's gone. If all of the all of the environmental piece, it's gone, like that part's gone. Imagine what you could accomplish. And that really got me thinking. She was phenomenal for me in terms of my professional growth, and said, like, enough's enough. Get going. And she gave me a kick.
Isn't it so interesting that often when we're in these tough environments, we think we're the problem. Maybe this isn't the world for me, or this isn't, I can't hack it in this. And I've had similar experiences myself. And then when you realize, no, actually, I'm good at what I do. I love what I do. It's all this other stuff around me that isn't really supporting me to thrive and be my best. And if I'm to go out on my own, and just like you said, that environment piece changes, and it actually becomes an environment you can control and surround yourself with the right types of people and clients that then maybe I'll be successful. But often, not a lot of people stop and actually think that through. So you're really, fortunate that you had that coach that was able to help you think through that for you, because look at, what kind of came out on the other side.